Jennings in the Channel 7 newsroom. As you may have noticed, our power was knocked out just as some of the pre-game activities for the World Series was getting underway. That game is scheduled to start any moment now. Our power has been off for almost 15 minutes, and the reason, if you do not know by now, was a major earthquake, an earthquake which was felt from Oakland to Sacramento as far south as Los Angeles. We have reports of major power outages in San Francisco and reports throughout the Bay Area. There's also major damage in San Benito County, south of San Jose. We do not have a Richter scale reading on that yet. The Office of Emergency Services
San Joseph.
has more information. Here in the Channel 7 newsroom, we felt a jolt, and we all felt an earthquake, and then it hit and knocked us off the air. It knocked televisions off of the stand here, and all of a sudden people got very nervous and very scared. Ana Chavez was out on the street, and she said that people emptied out of the building. Traffic was trying to move in the downtown area, and that traffic came to a complete stop, and people started filling in the streets. Pete Wilson is out at Candlestick right now. Let's see if we can go to Pete Wilson live to see if there was anything felt out at the stick. Pete?
Well, Cheryl, obviously people are terribly nervous here. The power is off in Candlestick Park. This quake hit, as you have told people, just shortly after 5 o'clock. It was very obvious very quickly.
KGO,
ABC
7 affiliate.
Was up on the top deck of the building.
You think it's ABC or 7? It's weird. ABC 7 is an enterprise like WABC, KGO, WLAS.
We have a number of reports. It's difficult for us to confirm these things. We are told that the first three on the long trend is the last couple of feet. And that there
So guys, we have some severe weather right now. I'm just killing time right now until the storm ends. Then I've got some videos I'm going to upload, but right now, got spare bads if I need them. But until we lose power, if we lose power, then I will. Then the camera's definitely going to be getting used more. Right now, I'm just watching some old shit. If the weather radar goes off, then definitely I'm going to be.
So we've had quite a shake here.
I got a candle lit in case it was power.
We can feel here at least one small aftershock that was at least detectable at this site. Cheryl?
Okay, Peter, thank you very much for getting a lot of information. There are reports of some injuries, minor at this point. The water main is leaking everywhere.
Yeah, there's after earthquake, you just get your power.
A person trapped in an elevator in Shelter Bay. A brick in Sausalito has hit a person on the head. The 911 system is down in some areas. Now, the important thing to remember is check.
Call the fire department then.
That is the first and most important.
Now no one's down, you have to call the fire the fast way.
Don't want to run the fire. Has just come in. Anna, do you have some late information from
We are just getting reports from our crews on the scene that there is a major fire that has erupted in Oakland, at least one. We understand at this point, accounts coming in now, that the east portion of the Bay Bridge has been damaged. Again, Cheryl's advice is particularly important at this time because we now have evidence that, in fact, their fire has become a problem. I'm going to go back and check with the depth, and I'll bring you any more information.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Now, of course, if you have some problems, if you don't know exactly what to do about your gas
called a
main
flash-
or
so she's on a
water
flash
account,
camera.
grab your phone book. It's right there in the front because that will tell you exactly what to do before and during an earthquake. And of course, if you've got a battery-powered radio, you want to get to that. Now, I believe that we are still running on generator power here at KGO. If you felt the quake, if you didn't feel the quake, it happened at about 5 after 5. It was first a rolling jolt, and then here at Channel 7, it was such a sharp jolt that people here became terrified. When Anna was down in the street, she said people began laughing.
So it'd be like 7 o'clock here when it
And then
happened.
she said people started screaming because it was so terrifying.
It'd be
I'm trying to, okay, now we're just getting late information. Don Sanchez, come on in here. You've got
Like 7 o'clock
They
tonight.
stopped, I think, and that has been quite some time, stopped in the tunnel. The other problem, of course, is too because of with the bridge. There is no traffic on the bridge. Now, I understand that we have a picture because we don't have any monitors here, do we?
No, we have no way of seeing what we're showing you.
We are seeing a fire in Oakland. We can actually see it from the station. A lot of black smoke. I would not be able to tell what it is at this point, and I don't think we know. But this is obviously.
It's a large building, I understand. I'm getting some word from the control room. We're seeing flames coming from the top of the building. So once again, late word. Phone service went down. Power went down. Don.
According to the OES, the National Guard has now been put on alert. So obviously, some major damage, and obviously this is, I think, one of the strongest earthquakes that I've felt in the 18 years that I've lived here. Maybe probably the strongest. So we'll have to. We're still waiting to find out.
Okay, I'm getting word from the control room now that the fire in Oakland is a major fire, a large fire nearly half a block long.
Again, we don't know what caused the fire. We can suspect, of course, a number of things, perhaps gas mains, and that's the thing that you have to pay attention to. You've got to check all those survival tips that we've been talking about over the past few years. Now they come into play. You've got to have the extra water just in case you can't get out anywhere. I'm getting late bulletins here. Hospitals on red alert. Hospitals everywhere on red alert.
And there have been cracks in buildings, cracks in the streets as well, 2 blocks from where we are. We're on landfill here, so we may have felt this shaking a bit more than other people would. But you have to understand, I guess that's why we went off the air. I guess you've explained that, there has been a major earthquake in Northern California. It felt as far away as, I think we had the original reports of Los Angeles. I just received a phone call from a member of my family in San Diego. They felt it there as well.
Yeah, and of course, all of us were trying to jam the phone lines, calling our family members to find out if everyone is okay, and if they made it home, or if they're in-house, that something didn't fall on their head, because you also have to watch out for that if you're in an earthquake situation. An earthquake of this size that is going to produce aftershocks, maybe major aftershocks, so be sure that you get under something to protect your head. Anna, running in here, come on in.
Our helicopter is on the way to the scene. Within a minute and a half, we'll have live pictures. Apparently, the east portion of the Bay Bridge has collapsed and there are automobiles trapped. We'll keep you posted.
Okay, I don't know if you heard what Anna was saying, but a major portion, this is very, very scary. Because apparently I'm told we have a live picture for you. We cannot see. We have no working monitors here at Channel 7. You're looking at, I understand, a live picture of the Bay Bridge. Is that correct? Just the Bay. Okay, we're on our way to the Bay Bridge. Apparently a major portion of that has collapsed, and there may be cars trapped. We're not sure. We're going to get that information for you. Again, a major earthquake happened this afternoon at 5:05. We're experiencing an aftershock as I speak. I don't know if you can see the light swinging behind me, but that is one of probably many that we will experience, and we can't tell you enough. Please check your gas mains, check your water. You do not want to have any more fires. We have a major fire working in Oakland. We showed you some pictures of that earlier. People felt it as far as Oakland, Sacramento, and Los Angeles. Pete Wilson was out of Candlestick. As soon as we could get back on the air, we were off for about 15 minutes. Pete Wilson told you that the folks at Candlestick during the World Series experienced a very, very shaky situation. We're still waiting for a Richter scale reading from the Office of Emergency Services or the Berkeley Seismology Center. We still do not know how strong this was. The epicenter, as I understand it, was south of San Benito. Apparently that is south of San Jose. Viacom went off the air, and of course we went off the air. We're running on generator power right now. I'm not getting any more word from the control room as to what is happening at this very moment. Okay, we have a chopper at the Bay Bridge right now. Are we seeing pictures? Okay, we're showing you. We cannot see what I'm telling you about. I'm getting this information from my control room. So I understand that we are looking at a live picture of the damage to the Bay Bridge in the Bay Area. An entire section of the Bay Bridge has been lost. Very, very frightening situation. We understand that there have been cars trapped. I'm getting late bulletin. Don Sanchez, come in here.
We can't see the pictures here because we're still trying to get the monitor back, but the upper deck, part of the upper deck, a section of the upper deck of the Bay Bridge, is probably what you're still looking at right now, has collapsed. So it has fallen down into the
Can you
lower
see whether
deck.
cars were on there?
Could not see, no.
Or whether any concrete had fallen on cars?
Okay, people on the bridge, those who were left on the bridge, have been told to park, get out of their car, and go to Yerba Buena Island, walk to the island. And of course, on either end of the bridge, for obvious reasons, the traffic has been stopped. But yes, there has been a section of it collapsed. That's still what we were looking at.
Okay, now are we still looking at those pictures? I'm working blind right now, so I can hear my director. Yeah, go ahead, talk to me. Okay, apparently the Bay Bridge is just totally damaged right in the center. Ana Chavez, come on in here.
Basically, Cheryl, what they're telling us now, and these are early reports of what's going on now at the bridge. We understand that a 50-foot section of the bridge near the cantilever portion on the east side has collapsed. At this point, there have been no reports to Caltrans of any injuries, but we do know, because our crew is looking at that section of the bridge, there's some indication that perhaps cars were trapped under the collapse. Right now, they are trying to clear the bridge. They're doing that by basically having people make a U-turn and get out of there. 10 minutes ago, that whole area was shut down to traffic. As I'm sure you can expect, that's going to be the case on major thoroughfares wherever there was that kind of collapsing damage.
Cheryl, the reports keep coming in from our crews as well as the little bits coming in from the wires. Our people are working on the desk, contacting hospitals and local emergency service agencies. As we get more information, we'll keep you posted.
Okay, Anna, thank you very much. Are we still on the picture of the Bay Bridge? Okay, you're looking at the upper deck of the Bay Bridge. Apparently, as Anna just told you, a 50-foot section of the east side, I believe that's the upper portion of the Bay Bridge, has collapsed. There may be cars trapped underneath. Some of those cars that were trapped have been towed, apparently. And authorities are advising people to please, if you can, get off the bridge and drive to YBI and just park your car. Again, the important thing is if you are at home or if you can call, of course you don't want to jam the phone lines, but if you can somehow get word to your relatives, check their gas mains. That is the most important thing you can do right now. And to keep your head protected in case of falling objects. I want to remind you once again that the phone book, right in the front of the phone book, has some good emergency earthquake information available for you to help get you through this crisis. I understand that we have Lisa Stark standing by live.
Cheryl, hello. We are a few blocks from Candlestick Park. We were here when the quake hit, about 5 p.m. We do have some pictures we would like to show you now of what it looked like when the quake hit. You can see power lines are swaying. It was a very brief quake, but it was a very strong jolt. This is what happened here when the quake hit. Burglar alarms were set off. The power lines were swaying. As I said, power was cut off to this area. So was phone service. We're told now that some phone service has been restored here. You can see people were screaming. You could definitely feel the quake. I was also just told by a police officer that there are some cracks in the upper rim of Candlestick. Half-inch cracks is what he is saying in the upper rim of Candlestick. And they have also closed the overpass now on Jamestown into Candlestick. People here have objects fall off their walls. We've been into a number of homes where pictures and dolls and other things are littering the ground of the homes. And you can see that is what the scene looked like here as the earthquake hit. It was very brief, but it was a strong jolt. There was no question about what it was. And again, the power was off to this area. I have not been able to confirm if it is still off at this time. But again, there appear to have been some cracks in the upper rim of Candlestick Park. And that is the latest from down here near the ballpark.
Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. Let's go live now to Pete Wilson and Frank Crocker out at Candlestick. Pete, I don't know if you can hear Lisa, but she said there appear to be cracks at Candlestick Park.
We have occurred, and you might.
I can tell you, I was in the upper deck right behind home plate, just out here to watch the ball game tonight. And when the first shake started to hit, there were several aircraft right above us, and I immediately started to think it was vibration from the aircraft. But then it really started to roll, really started to punch, and the windows in the press boxes out along the left field line started to shake. The lights went out. People were relatively calm. I can tell you that there are cracks in the concrete up there. I can't tell you if the cracks have been there, if they're new cracks. It's impossible to tell at this point.
We should point that out, that there are old cracks in the stadium. It is an old stadium. We don't know if there's been a major crack. We have not seen that yet. We've got people out. We're trying to get other people situated in other areas in the Bay Area now, because there's so many reports coming into us, and they're all disparate. They're coming from the police and so on. We're hearing bit by bit from other television crews, and we've got a number out ourselves. I will tell you that they have not cleared the stadium out yet. Some people are voluntarily getting out. They're very concerned about reports from us and others that this happened in the South Bay. But it's I think, problematic right now. They obviously can't go ahead with this game at this point. I don't know if they will.
I've been through several earthquakes in the last 8 years, and this was very, very scary to be up there on that upper level especially. It shook all over the place. People were great, though. They didn't panic. They didn't run. The question is now, are they going to leave them in the ballpark?
Right. Well, we're going to try to determine that as soon as we can. Giants management, we've been trying to get a hold of them. In fact, I've heard other stations, radio and television, desperately trying to get a hold of them as well. But we don't know if they've made a decision. And if they do, they're going to have to be terribly careful about it, because obviously we've had one major route here cut off, at least at this point, and that's the Bay Bridge.
Yeah.
So we'll throw it back to you. I wish we could tell you more than we can on these specifics, but we are essentially trapped here at Candlestick, surrounded by the cars of 60,000 fans.
Having a little difficulty hearing you. I just got the monitor back. Okay, we have pictures on the air now. We have pictures of a fire in Berkeley. I'm told the location is Berkeley. This is an aerial view, a live picture It looks like more than one fire in Berkeley right now. We don't know exactly what the location is or how bad the fire is or whether any people's lives are in jeopardy. But there you have it. That is the Cypress section of the Nimitz Freeway. And you can see, oh my God, look at that. The freeway has just completely collapsed. And it looks as though there are vehicles down there. Traffic, of course, is completely stopped. Oh, that's pretty frightening. I certainly hope that nobody was injured in that, but that's just one of the scariest things I've ever seen. And of course, you've heard that we had some major damage to the Bay Bridge. We showed you live pictures of the Bay Bridge earlier. It is, until the location is 1 mile from the toll plaza on the Bay Bridge, just before the superstructure. We're going to bring you some more, okay, we're off of that live shot right now, some late details right now. Chope Hospital, apparently, and Chope Hospital in San Mateo, many reports of cuts, injuries, and heart attacks, unfortunately. Children's Hospital in San Francisco, TV set has fallen on some children. There is apparently one injury. Okay, Ana Chavez is standing by at the other flash cam. Ana, go ahead.
Well, for those of you who have been following our coverage, let me tell you what's going on right now. Communication systems are jammed, as you can imagine. Our people are working on the assignment desk to bring us the latest information, and that is why it's changing so very quickly. We've just received a report from a viewer who saw the scene that I-80 at 880 West has collapsed. Again, this is the kind of thing we expect to hear more about because everywhere that there was an overpass, that jolt may have done some damage. Also, for those of you who may just be tuning in, we have had a very major earthquake. It has been felt from Los Angeles all the way up north of us by many miles. Right now, we don't yet have an estimate of the Richter reading. If you take a look at this picture, you'll see the magnitude of this earthquake brought down a 50-foot section, a cantilever section of the Bay Bridge. People for the Bridge District told us they don't know whether there have been any injuries. You look at those pictures, it looks like you can see evidence that perhaps there were. For anyone who has their mind on the World Series right now, our program director says, of course, we will be going to the game eventually, but because this is a major breaking story affecting most of Northern California and perhaps some of the South as well, we'll be bringing you the latest information and bringing you updates throughout the night. We are getting reports every minute of the extent, increasing reports of damage within our own building here at Channel 7, which is a modern 3-story building. Interior walls are cracked. Brickwork has been shattered. We've got